All right, welcome back, folks. It is reset day again. Monday local time. All right, it is week 4 of the Mountain of Flame update, module 29. Last week we weren't so lucky to complete our weekly hauls before we were able to pick up a run through advanced layer of the Mad Dragon. So let's see if we can hit one up today. What happened last week? Last week we got an additional weekly, I guess the Flame Guard Fortress or something, where we took down, oh no, Ignazar, right? Ignazar, one of the generals. I imagine this week there's some like narrative that leads up to finding whatever is in the lair of the Mad Dragon, or whatever leads up to the lair of the Mad Dragon. That's about it. We sock it to the I guess we would call them the person who's responsible for all the archons. Alright. So let's head back in. See what other things happen. Right, we helped the historian restore the dwarves, the fallen brethrens. It did a little bit of history, repurposed some of the statues, and largely in this region. So I'm imagining whatever is going to happen is going to happen in this region. All right, let's see. All right. Where am I with this? Okay. So far, I don't see anything.
Do not stare too deep. Let's.
Okay, so the Fire Guard Fortress.
Terrible stronghold is stone and flame, known as the Fire Guard.
Right, they're called Fire Guards, not Flame Guards. Classic.
General Ignazar.
All right, I get it. All right, I get it.
On behalf of Gomoth. But you were undeterred. You enter the fortress.
One day, my tree will be the heart of a great forest.
It's starting
If we live, of course.
to look like nothing.
We must stop Gomoth and his allies.
All right.
Or all we've done will be ashes.
Never mind. It's the next one. So everything else is repeatable. So we help the historian restore Thimble restore a lot of the help find closure, I suppose, for all his fallen brethren. But other than that, we got the Fire Guard. I was about to say Flame Guard, Fire Guard. It's a really classic switch 'em up when it comes to Western fantasies. You always put two words together. Any form of the fire, you know, fire, flame, blaze, scorch, cinder, etc. And then you slap it into whatever type of like guard-like thing. So like guards, sentinels, knights, protectors, etc. Honest mistake. Looks like we don't have any story-related things until next time, because I typically move my milestones to the next one. So we're gonna just turn on some more passive tunes and enjoy some meditative weekly hauling. Okay, let's see how quickly we can start this. So the time is 3:25. I expect this time around, since we have our activities completed, 30 minutes per tune, and then we'll see if we can get a run through advanced layer of the Mad Dragon. Only done it once. So there we are. We floated 20, right? We floated 20 currency for repeatables. That means we have to complete our 2 weeklies, which then we just take this path up to the fortress. However, we can do these while we're here. We should have 2 in the region. Must be the Archons. Probably have to defeat Archons. Since I don't see a marker here. I don't think these guys count. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to take the healing herbs. That's fine. We'll be looping back. No, I don't see an Archon tracker. Oh, there. It's on the bottom. So we loop around. Hit the Fire Guard Fortress. That'll TP us back out, which will then TP to the Shadow Caverns. Line up. Actually, there's only one. Oh, we also have the Flame Spike. Flame Spike repeatable. Also don't have a marker. No? Oh, no. Ranger. Because we forgot to take the herbs. It's fine. Oh, hey. Someone was nice enough to clear this. Thank you, stranger. Okay. No hard feelings, guys. Okay. Okay. Not enough, but Archons are everywhere. Take what we can get. Get in here. I don't think there were any like noticeable patch notes that I'm aware of since last week. All right, Archons are done. Get in here. Definitely quicker to just engage everything. Too much lollygagging. By lollygagging, I mean not enough distance. You can't run enough distance without the mobs holding you up. I think I missed one. Yep. Oh. Not quite sure how I missed the entire group. Okay. What's the weekly at? 76%. Ugh, annoying range. Okay. Okay. I don't know where Regis went. Alright. No, it's okay. Something keeps clipping the companion so they don't enter that room. Oops. Meant to go to the Shadowfire Caverns. Must have been a recent patch to Shadowfire. It hangs up like this whenever there's an instance thing that got patched up. Maybe they reduce something so that people can enter Mount Hote now. And they have to like solo it. I don't know if you have to solo it. I'm pretty sure you can bring someone, but usually the entry things into a new region gets scaled in a way that anyone can do it. Like it has a low entry point. You don't want those things to happen. I'm gonna imagine it had something to do with something being too persistently damaging. Okay. Might be this guy, actually. It's probably this guy. Okay. There are two groups looking for a tank. Or Mad Dragon. That's understandable. Alright, let's grab the herbs and turn in. So we float 20. That's 50, 70. So we need 20 plus 25. So we need to turn in 1 and float 3. What's our activity at? 86%? Dang, activity doesn't move very much. I like this one. This one's a lot faster, actually. So we'll turn in 1. That's all we have to do. Now we have to complete these. And then complete our activity, which is to slam our face into anything. Alright. We're gathering branches. We find some friends to help. There's one. Friendos? I'll probably gather these guys. Take them out. Some credit for activity. Gotta be a branch here, right? Wait. So difficult to see. Hello there, cat. Hello. Do. Here's some healing for you. I'm back home. Ni hao. Ni hao. Indeed. 不错，我不错。 How's the con? Lots to talk about. Well, the con in general was pretty nice. We got a lot of stories. I don't think there was anything that was very different from tradition. However, one exciting thing is it is a new record. We did hit a new record. Tentatively, 56,000 plus people were served this weekend. It's plus 4,000 from the previous year. Plus 4,000 from the previous year. Had some time to catch up with one or two people. Yes, this is in the DC Convention Center. Yep. New home. Mm-hmm. Good. Where are my woodland fellows? Oh, wait. No. Let's not go down there. You've been in max Chinese mode this week? That's understandable. Excellent. There's this person that I've been talked to, that I bump into on and off. We work for the same department. Recently, since my focus had been on language, she is had like a little nice little chat here and there. She had been going to Otakon 3 years before me consecutively. So she has been going since either it was 2003 or 2004. I think it's 2004. And I started in 2007 and found out that she is diaspora from Taiwan. I took a gamble and asked her. I took a gamble and attempted to speak some Fujianese, but she's closer to the traditional diaspora. So, you know, you have that same little description where they can listen to it, still do the little like translation and whatnot, but producing the speech is different. Although not Fujianese, so not enough for Fujianese. The reason why I asked her, knowing that she's second gen Taiwanese, is that there is a little history behind Fujianese, and Fujianese is quite close to Taiwanese, so it was just curious if she picked up. She said she gave me the impression that she said she picked up a little bit of it, but not entirely intelligible, which is more or less where I would expect. You have 9 people, very nice. WeChat, huh? We made a huge group chat and it's just curse memes and stuff. Yeah. She and I work for the same department, so that was kind of nice. It was very lovely. Shows a very can-do attitude. Let's just say I overheard Mandarin here and there, and I overheard Japanese here and there in the convention. However, you know, I'm quite busy, so in those times, striking up a random conversation did not occur. However, one thing to say is, unlike Lotus's interaction randomly in the airport, I would say that an anime convention is quite a nice place to strike up conversation, because people are incredibly sociable. And you still have internationals join. If your convention is as big as like Otakon and so, you actually have a bunch of internationals. Actually, I've overheard a couple, a couple Japanese people, especially guests. Guests don't speak amongst themselves in Japanese. Heard a few Koreans. The only, the only difference is I just need to recognize that it's not Vietnamese, and that's about it. So, usually it's very recognizable. But I was getting on an elevator, from my hotel room, and I just saw these two Japanese people standing there, and one person's like, "Hi, wakarimashita," and then the other person was whispering to them, and then he responded with yes. He basically said, "Yes, we wait here. Machimasu." Yeah. So it's pretty. That's probably the closest I got to some people speaking Japanese, where I'm like, "Oh yeah, nice." It's not weird standing at the elevator, waiting for the elevator, and listening to some Japanese people say something to each other. Oh no, and also obviously I didn't interact with them. I just stood there. They were interacting amongst themselves. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. Basically, the other person must have said something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I heard you. Like, I understand." And then the other person like muttered something which I couldn't hear, but the other person's like, "Yes, we wait here," like because the elevator, right? I'm like, yeah, very nice. In terms of Mandarin, there were a few like two girls hanging around talking about how good their hair, like how good their hat is looking, because they were talking about the hats that they were wearing, and I'm like, all right. Although when it comes to Mandarin, that's no different from everyday interactions. I typically know what people are talking about when they're out and about. Didn't interact with them either. No one came up to me and asked me any questions in like Mandarin or Japanese. Sometimes that does happen. And it's, you might be thinking perhaps that it's like, why would they come up to you? When you walk around in a convention, you're often wearing something that is very recognizably part of the staff. Like there's staff written on your shirts and stuff. So oftentimes when someone's like outside roaming and have no idea where they're going, or they want to make sure, they typically stop whoever has a very recognizable shirt. And so the staff typically have like only 2 or 3 variances of the same things. So most staff would be like going in and out constantly. I don't even know how many we have. I think there's like 500 people. Don't quote me on that. It might be a far underestimate, but there's a lot of people. So you always have people roaming back and forth, always among the crowd. Yeah. I think I had minor existential crises. Oh, hello there. Firming. I had a little bit. Yeah, I gotta practice it. Yeah, listening at least. Although I don't think I need too much more practice for conversational Japanese listening and conversational Mandarin listening. I would highly suggest, though, if you ever have a neighboring, if you're like in the United States and you're near metropolitan area, hitting up a local anime convention that has like international level of appeal, that would be a very natural place to engage with native speakers who happen to be visiting, and they're like expected to be having random conversations. I talked about this a little bit with like Lotus, where he had an opportunity to speak because there were some Japanese people who were boarding the same plane that he was as he was traveling. And usually in those situations, at least, I might not be able to speak for Japanese, but Chinese people would be very harsh. They would be like business oriented, because when you're going somewhere with a objective, if you're not expecting to have casual conversations, I feel a large majority of Asian people would be polite, like decorum, straight, like yes, short answers, and you don't really get the opportunity per se to make it not weird. However, in an anime convention, at least from my experience at the con, both Japanese people and Chinese people who visit the con from outside expect to like interact randomly with strangers. So you hear so many conversations where you can hear different accents going back and forth willy-nilly in a really crowded place. And it's also at a convention, it's also very common to hear multiple languages, right? It wouldn't be a weird place where, oh yeah, but what if I spoke Japanese here and then everyone else is like speaking English, right? That's usually not a thing at a convention. So it's actually quite a great opportunity. Obviously, I didn't think about this before since language learning was within the last year. So I haven't really thought about how appropriate it is. It's really nice listening to it though. Oh, and also I interacted with my I don't know what you call them, but the hotel staff, the cleaning, like the upkeep people, you know, the people who do the room upkeep and whatnot. And she spoke Spanish, so I interacted with her in Spanish, which is a very common thing in the United States. She asked me if I needed towels because I was like lying down and resting for a little bit before I went back to my shift, and the lady was very, very nice, and she just asked if we needed more towels. Yeah. Two necesitas, and then she said towel, which I actually don't know the Spanish word for towel, but she decided to use the word towel. She just said if you needed towels. It was a really nice lady. She just like popped her head in while I was like lying down, like closing my eyes for a little bit. I thought that was very nice interaction. Spanish. Oh, by the way, I bet you can't read what I said. What do you mean? What said? What did you say? He said 对不对? And I said 对. Did you not hear me? Yeah. I responded with 对. After that, I didn't see anything after that. There's nothing after 对不对. Oh wait, there is. Oh. 我没有 something. Oh, 钱? Oh, rip. Sorry. Sorry that you don't have money. Nah, that's in Duolingo. No worries. Yeah, 我没有钱. Not bad, not bad. Writing fantastic. It's so nice to be able to read like common conversational things. You love cosplay? Me too. I didn't get a chance to so a lot of times anyone who's in cosplay, they would you ever cosplay in a con? I would. If I weren't working. Maybe. I thought about it. I got some ideas. I'm reinvigorated to do so. I think one thing that made this convention different was it's kind of nice. Whoops, I keep hitting the wrong button. It's kind of nice being motivated to share the experience. I haven't done it in the last couple of years. Largely, I'm doing it because I like helping people. But now this week I roamed around. I mean, this convention this year, I roamed around quite a lot looking for ideas for the future. So, like the dealer room stuff, I was looking for ideas on how to make stuff, like stuff for future, maybe like little knickknacks and whatnot. I took a picture of whatever that was interesting, and that may perhaps also involve cosplaying in the future. But largely, the closest I ever gotten, which you'd be surprised how wonderfully more approachable you are when you're wearing just something that's very obvious. I think 2 years ago, I only wore like a pair of ears, and it made everyone like a lot more, I don't know. You don't have to go and fully do cosplay to feel really welcomed when it comes to being at a convention. But this year, I saw some really neat bucket hats that I kind of want to find a character that wears a bucket hat and some sort of Hawaiian patterned shirt. Like, I really dig how people had some excellent. I need something colorful, so we'll think about that. And then I went to the artist alley, which is the other thing where artists obviously sells their stuff, and I was collecting all the interesting art directions and stuff for the styles for Inktober coming up. So I was doing reconnaissance, so to speak, kind of thing. Usually I walk around the video game hall to look at all the cabinets and the rhythm games and whatnot, just to see what's trendy, if anything got updated. However, now it feels like I'm basically collecting information for next year. I haven't actually ever shared this thing that I've been doing pretty much over 17 years of my life. It's become it has always been a permanent fixture in my life. Still not over half my life yet. However, where is this? Is it up here? Oh, here. Yeah, I haven't really shared that part too often. So now I have other motivations to do so. Yeah, I have a lot of things that I've done pretty consistently for quite some time. Yeah, so a thing about, oh no. A thing about working at the con, your room is supplemented by the con. And that's probably one of the more costly part of going to a convention. So the one thing I am unable to find most of the time is every staff member has a compensation badge, so they can give badges to one or two people that they know that are close to them. So technically, if you were able to find some sort of affordable hotel room or something, you can technically go to the con for free if you knew a staff member, which I am one of them. However, I don't know anyone who would attend or is able to attend. Usually they try to like find, every staff member tries to find at least one or two people. But we can give badges to people we know. I was going back to your whole money thing. Unfortunately, the hotels, the hotel rooms aren't that affordable as well, especially if you're already strapped for cash, right? Go to yeah. And any year, I'm looking for one or two people who want to go. Largely, the only it's a win-win, because if you get people to go, you can find potential new staff members, right? It's has a way of plugging it. The staff members, again, are almost entirely, the vast majority of the staff members are volunteers, and they were originally con goers first, or friends of friends, or friends of staff, and those staff invited those people. They wanted to stay, they wanted to help, but they want to do the con thing while not necessarily concerned about like getting hotels and stuff. So what they can do is they can start volunteering for Otakon, and then eventually that part is taken care of too. Obviously, you still put in the hours. You have to be someone who enjoys working and keeping the con running, and at the same time have enough time to enjoy what you need to enjoy, but it's not like non-stop being at the con. Well, everyone who works there find maybe like 4 to 5 hours enjoying the con, and then the rest is like 24 to 25 hours helping out with the convention itself, which is fits my bill. Obviously, it only takes me about 4 to 5 hours. So that's how like the whole thing works at Otakon. People get invited to cons, even staff members invite friends, do the compensation thing, and you can volunteer as like a gopher, someone who runs in between things, and eventually that gophering, you'll go to different types of departments like registration, which is what I work for. Eventually you'll land on a department that you really enjoy, then the staff members there would recommend you to that department and you become a staff member. And that's kind of how historically many of the staff members are founded, which that's what happened with me as well. I went to the con for several years before being a gopher, someone who's in between, and then I found myself most of the time at registration, and I like greeting people. If anything, I have pretty much a service-oriented, a hospitality-oriented personality in my late age, so I do like greeting people, telling them to have the best weekend of the year. You know, try to have the best weekend of their year. Solving problems at the door, always kind of nice. It's a very cathartic experience. I genuinely do love being like a service hospitality person. Really lovely. Didn't stop anyone because of their cosplay. I did see a fully realized Bender though, like from Futurama Bender. This guy had a Bender that's like, he attached Bender's limbs so he could operate Bender's limb like a marionette, and then his like middle compartment opened up. It was great, and he had like some sort of smoke machine that allowed him to produce smoke coming out of Bender's head. So he had like a full life-size Bender, and then each part of Bender's limbs is attached to one of his limbs, so he was able to operate Bender like a marionette, and that was pretty neat. I was just chilling in front. All your major shonens were represented, for sure. K-pop scene is getting bigger. It's definitely becoming more of a international thing. Like, originally it started as a largely anime still fills the core, but more and more so it's like Korean and Japanese. Chinese a little bit less so because of the representation is not as ubiquitous, right? Like in pop culture, it's a Asian pop culture convention, so a lot of Chinese pop culture doesn't quite make it to stateside too often. Perhaps that'll change in the future. I did not see, the closest thing I would see is anything from Hoyoverse. Hoyo, like mihoyo stuff would be the closest thing to having like Chinese inspiration for pop culture. Oh, there's Nornax. Yes, Neverwinter, indeed. I'm not sure about the hype. Not sure about the hype, but thank you. Starrail, Genshin, yep. Warning Waves, ZZZ, and yep, Honkai Impact third. Yeah. Although I'm not like that well versed in it, but you can still see a lot of Hoyo verse, MiHoYo like inspired visualization and stylization. So you can kind of pick out those cosplay. You can pick out those cosplay very recognizably and not mistaking them for other things. Only CN cosplay? Yeah, just CN cosplay, probably. I didn't see any things like maybe Apothecary's Diary. I was kind of expecting the niche one-off, like someone just happens to like Apothecary's Diary and we would have some like dynastic Chinese gowns and whatnot, but that didn't happen. Did not find that one. You invested too much into MiHoYo, yeah. that was the trending thing at the convention for sure. MiHoYo had a good, healthy representation. Definitely trending upward in terms of convention topics. I also got a deep dive slightly into pin collecting culture. Pin collecting culture is interesting. That's definitely a knick-knack collectible thing that lots of people do. I'm getting a little bit more invested in understanding some more trends because I want to be a little bit more up to date. I don't actually participate in any of these things, like these mini micro communities in the larger macro hobbies. I was told there's like this whole new thing, which I'm probably way behind the times, but this whole new thing about pin trading when you have full collections and trying to like, if you can collect whole collections that you may not want, and then there's this like whole network of pin trading to collect one collection for another collection, and then these like foam board things. Like, dude, I got someone I know over these years are really into pin collecting for sentimental reasons, but she had a more inside look of the hobby, you know, but not necessarily in it for that. But it was a nice, interesting, like a smaller hobby. I don't know how big it is, relatively speaking. Learned a little bit about it. I don't collect pins, but it sounds like a fun community thing to do outside of the things I typically do. Okay. One of your CN friends, one of your Chinese friends, have made works remotely for MiHoYo on StarRail. Oh, I'm unsure what they do exactly, but I was shocked and I was like, do you get free stuff? And she said she gets 25% off anything she wants, and I was like, what? 35% is substantial considering how frequent transactions are. Yo, the pin collections are quite sick. It's a different type of appreciation. It really is. I enjoy hearing different types of appreciation. Going to a convention is Otakon, my annual convention that I attend, is my major goal is not really like partaking. I know this sounds a little weird, but I work at Otakon, and largely it's for culture, mini culture, and hobby appreciation, Asian pop culture appreciation, and that's largely to talk to people. So I'm not there for like premieres and perhaps like autographs and like merchandising and stuff. Largely, I like to try to get myself cultured in pop culture. It's all the stuff wrapped in one place. And as I work there, I kind of can move around a lot more, be more present. It's kind of nice. Yeah. Lots and lots of people. We didn't get the final numbers yet, but it's another record year. Another record year. I'm still somewhat sobering up from not just getting up and greeting like thousands of people over and over again every day. There's something to it. This is kind of a luxury though, I don't want to give people the wrong idea. It is quite exhausting. It's super exhausting for a lot of the staff members who also juggle, you know, jobs and family and all that. For me though, it's like I get these one or two minor existential crises here and there. First comes that flood of like, wow, there's just this isn't even a lot of people in one place, but it is, you know, so to speak. At the same time, when you think about it, like thinking about the internet and how many people you are technically connected with on the internet, but you don't actually like physically see them. So at one point you're like, oh yeah, it's just one of 46,000 people within this weekend in this one place. And then comes flooding the appreciation, the awe-inspiring appreciation of, man, you can literally see over thousands of people in one shot of a room. Isn't that brilliant? Humans as a species, incredibly interesting. Yeah, well, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that existential crises also comes with a balance of awestruckness, where you appreciate that while however small you are as an individual, you are collectively massive as a collective, right? I even had that when I was driving, because I don't go out very often lately, and also I don't typically frequent the cities as much as I had been prior, especially these years past. And just sitting at an intersection, like today when I was driving back, I'm just sitting at the intersection and all I can see is, you know, look at all those lives crossing paths at that intersection. It's almost so poetic. Like it's almost deafeningly dwarfing. While you might be thinking at the digital age, right? The digital age is like, well, yeah, you log into a video game and so you have encountered at least more than that in a blink of a couple minutes, but it's very visceral and different when you're sitting at an intersection and you literally see those people crossing paths. And then you hit the intersection, the beltway around DC, and you're like grid bumper to bumper traffic on a highway, and then you realize, okay, there's too many people here. But at the same time, you're like, there's too many people here. Like, look at all these people. They exist. Existential crisis meets awestruck, obviously. Maybe I'll go to one of those type of cons one of these next couple years. It's a really sometimes when you're standing, I may be kind of basic, lame. I still want to cosplay 2B and 20. There's still one or two 2B cosplays here and there. What is the big one right now? I guess I saw tons of... So, cosplays come in individual form and as an ensemble. So, you can check off all the ensembles. You can definitely tell when their separate members are there. And you probably have the whole Jujutsu Kaisen, into the entire academy. So you can pick them out right away. Or like you walk around and you see like 7 versions of Ash Ketchum with like 4 versions of Misty and like several people who went the full 9 yards and made like a mascot thing for the Pokemon. You can pick them out right away. And then you have the individual ones. And the individual ones could like be any variant. However, you can totally tell when some of them are there for the photo shoot. So at a convention center, there are costume contests and various forms of contests, and you can definitely tell when there's a craftsman nearby. Usually it's some unique take where they are able to thematically integrate the character that they were modeling after. At the same time, you totally can see that they did their own spin. And you would have to like be around a lot to encounter them in the right places. I haven't really figured out since the con moving to DC. I haven't really figured out where they typically hang out. You can follow the people with enormous camera rigs. I saw one person who had an entire the professional bodysuits with the camera equipment, like 3 light fixtures and a reflector, all attached to their body rig. I'm like, dang, walking around trying to find those cosplayers. When I think of anything I want to cosplay person, it seems like I would have to cross-dress, and I'm not sure about it. Lots of cross-dressers. I'm just saying, it's you don't go to a convention not embracing that type of thing. It's a liberating thing of expression. So that is very, very common. At a convention, it's supposed to liberate inhibitions. That's why I mentioned the whole. I even feel that when you usually have the very decorum-like personalities of, let's say, Japanese and Chinese people who are visiting and stuff, most of the time people are quite a bit more freely unhinged, and the crowd are pretty appreciative of that at a convention, especially one that draws international crowds. It's very nice. I actually find it really adorable and endearing to see Chinese and Japanese internationals during the day so relaxed. Like, I dare I say, far more American than I usually am used to seeing them, because obviously I encountered Chinese people around my life, and even in the United States, when they're around each other, there's this like manner of traditional behavior that is very not there in it's almost as though you're having the nightlife during the daytime for most people, or the personal space time in the Chinese culture, but during the day with thousands of people around. And I think not to make it seem like it's normal, it really isn't. So that's kind of one of the multicultural little things that I would say it's present in a convention, and it's indescribable anywhere else. Like it's still very liberating to be at a convention. Not that you should warp your perspective around that. I mean, the internet has a bit of a warping perspective as well. At a convention, it's something special as opposed to something normal. So when you would say cross-dressing is a lot more normalized now, it is. It certainly is. However, it doesn't come with a potential apprehension of stigma at a convention. It is far more statistically unlikely to encounter, even if it's normalized. Something that is normalized means, in my opinion, there's a substantial group that makes it okay. However, you are also doing the coin flip in the idea that you'll have people on both sides of things. At a convention, you are going there with the intent of encountering those things. People who go there who are not expecting that would be a little bit of a concerning trend, especially for like convention organizers. I would be very concerned if as an organizer, if what you're doing and you have people not expecting that at a convention. So wee bit concerning. It's not something to be normalized at a convention. I don't think it has been in my years. Hoping America will reach where China is, where you will randomly meet people CDing in public on Tuesday afternoon. That sounds like unmaking a lot of years of traditionalism. We'll see. It is a very unique thing. I would love to see what it's like to go to a convention in China and a convention in Japan. That's why I made a comment about it before I left. About, like, if I had a motivation and I'm visiting Japan, I wouldn't mind going to a convention just to see the cultural difference between it. Because now the convention takes place in a different one, right? In a different country. And you will see the the variances. In the United States, I'm very familiar with this type of setting. So it feels at home and not at home at the same time. Like the moment you leave the convention, it's like you've returned back to a different state of mind. You really do. Like the sobering effect from being at a convention like Otakon is incredibly bittersweet. Like super bittersweet. Like immediately the day after, where you still have like a bunch of staff members hanging around in the lobby and whatnot, you know, everyone getting up before checkout at 11 a.m. They're all worn out and like maybe a bit hungover. I don't really drink. And then everyone's like, yeah, you know, it was a great con. You have a bunch of people who stayed after and you used to be wearing the staff shirt, and it's like, yo, you guys did a great job, right? Like lots of the con goers would say like, yeah, this year was amazing. And then there's that pause before your departure from each other. It's like, yeah, and it's over. Another year, right? The super immediate highs and lows about sobering up from being in a pocket time and place where it just feels like all the people who go there, regardless of their cultural backgrounds, coalesce for like one thing. It might not be that different in Japan or China, like for that pocket time. I just want to know. That's pretty much what I want to know. It may or may not, since I haven't ever been to a convention outside of the United States. So it's almost like everyone learned to compromise Like, for example, the personal space of a face culture versus the personal space of a Western culture, right? That whole like, oh yeah, I'm all up into it. It's like, can I hug you? And then there's like just sudden random hugging and stuff, and you can see that there might be some social clashes between like Chinese people and like Americans or something, but you just don't have that at a convention. So I'm very curious. It would be a pleasant surprise if in Japan it's nearly identical. It would also be a pleasant, intriguing surprise, right? If it's completely different. Who knows? I wouldn't know until I have some personal life experience with that. At Otakon though, it's very much the the former, which things are largely unhinged. And just go with it. Weirdness and all. What seemed weird is no longer weird for those 3 days. I still remember here's a little I didn't partake in this, but I witnessed this. So one of the years in Otakon, there was Otakon decided to advertise it by giving people a paddle. Like one of the memorabilia is a paddle, okay? And sure enough, it immediately became more of a you don't give unhinged people paddles. So in one of the years, let's just say there had to be a little bit of a reinforcement to roll back on some of the paddle activities or activities involving paddles. Just that I still remember that from a bit ago. So things like that, unhinged behavior. People are a little bit extra friendly at a convention center. At a convention. Obviously, it's not like, oh, don't have fun kind of thing. Just let's try to be a little bit more, you know, behave a little bit. There's still those situations, so not completely unhinged. But yes, it was the paddle year, the paddle gate. Yeah, still sobering up from that. I think it takes me a little bit longer to sober up. I'm pretty electrified at the moment. Those 3 days. Well, technically 4 days for anyone who works there, or even more. However, sobering. And get back to the usual life stuff. If I can feel it, I can only imagine how other people feel it, right? Because obviously I don't like today, this very moment, everyone I know has already gone back to work and have nearly completed their 9-to-5 jobs. Meanwhile, I drove home. My father and mother welcomed me. I ate some hagao, right? Hagao. And I took a nap. And then here I am. All right. The friend that I caught up with left Sunday morning in order to get back to rest so that she get up in the morning to go back to her pharmacy job. When did I come home? I returned 5 hours ago. So 11:30 p.m. EST. I slept quite a lot. I did the thing where instead of walking around, I rest as much as I can in between. So I practically rested like 30 to 40% of the day yesterday, waiting for like the social gathering and stuff, the after hour social gathering and whatnot with staff members, since the convention has a half day. It's a half Sunday. Sundays are half days, so it's technically 2.5 days, the convention. The other half is used for a final staff gathering where everyone celebrates and says, we did it again, another great year, kind of thing. Oh yeah. Most of the time I rest I do my due diligence often to pick any opportunity I can to rest while I'm away, while juggling all my responsibilities, largely if I had the freedom to, largely because I don't want to get the after travel crash. I don't know if that happens with you, Pat. However, my friends, like my close best friends, they often get ill or like get a cold or something right after they return, as opposed to like hit the ground running or return, hit the ground running. So that exhaustion, that energy is very real. I don't know how to explain it biologically, but generally it's due to like an overexertion that can't be felt during these situations. And most people come back with colds, like travel colds. I mean, I've seen enough influencers to know that every time they come back from a convention, like, I don't know, recently Evo happened, that the influencer will naturally come back streaming with a cold or something because the overexertion is not felt during the days. I used to be like that when I was younger, so you don't get colds, like you're more hardier before, but as I'm getting older, I tend to rest as much as I can during the convention. So if I have a 1 hour break, I would eat, go back to the hotel room, nap for 30 minutes. If I can find some time to walk, it would be during the time where I'm usually up, and then otherwise I'm napping, I'm resting in the hotel room. So to try to mitigate the crash from all of it. But back in the day, like wind it back maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't sleep through the entire weekend. I might eat sometimes through the weekend. It's to the point where I always joke, like, I don't even have a bowel movement during the weekend because I either ate too little or I was moving about so much that you just didn't go to the bathroom, and you didn't even go back to your hotel room most of the time. You just kept going. The hotel room is there. When you go into hotel room, you don't even sleep in the hotel room. You're just up the entire time. So remember those days. How it feels to be young. Nowadays, I'm impressed by my roommates all the time. They're like out and about, like, oh, what are you doing? You know, they pop in and they see me lying down. It's like, what are you doing? Don't you have work? It's like, yeah, I have work in like an hour. Like, so I'm gonna catch 40 minutes of resting, staying, you know, hydrated, staying on my feet, kind of thing. And then when I come back, I'm still good to go. No colds, no nothing. Still COVID free, you know. Can't tell you how many times I hear someone come back and they get the flu or COVID now as well. It's weird. Weird normalization that a lot of people I know find similar. When I come back from one of the countries I visited last month, I felt so tired for like 3 days. Yeah, that's understandable. Just tons of fatigue, not able to get up, and then because of that fatigue, if you have an anything opportunist, like a common cold or something, if someone is already like around a lot of people, since you're so fatigued, typically that's immunosuppressant, so you will likely be able to have either encounter a minor like symptoms from something like the common cold. Happens quite often. Maybe some soreness, nothing like normalized to severity. It's a very classical response to overextending yourself, but also feeling incredibly euphoric, like dopamine running, adrenaline's running, things feel great until you have to pause, and then that flood of neurotransmitters stop supporting your inevitable fatigue. Yeah. I think doing things unhinged. All right. Hear me out here. And what really pushes that across is if you're doing something a little unhinged at a convention. Like it's not like a secret that the whole being unhinged thing at a convention, you're supposed to go there to be able to do some of that thing. So if you're not partaking in something like that while going to a convention, you might be missing some of the opportunities, right? That's kind of one of the intents of having a convention. It's liberates you from. There's a little bit. This is a side digression, but it's related to this. There's a little saying about allowing what has been normalized for many years now in the United States, maybe not so publicly elsewhere, is the idea of the nerd culture, right? Otakon has been 30 years now. And even 30 years ago, which is almost the extent of my life, I've grown up in a period where there's at least 10 years of this period. Whatever's trendy now was not trendy before. And that's the idea of openly expressing any form of interest in the type of culture, like pop culture we have now. And we still reflect upon that at a convention like that in the end. Like people still talk about it nowadays. The people who work at the convention lived and grown up through those ages where unnecessary passion due to trivialities, quote unquote trivialities, like anime, pop music, like specific types of pop music and whatnot, that used to still be stigmatized, right? So we have to keep in mind that Otakon's been around 30 years and has gone through a period where that was considered unhinged and deviant behavior at some point, right? Some might even use the W word, a waste of time, when we know nowadays that if you're able to compartmentalize, reserve, and create appropriateness for that space, it actually really greatly increases a person's quality of life, especially their mental health. Not that we're not talking about whether they are going to be healthy or not with or without it. We're talking about boosting your quality of life, like as in a preventive balance thing. You're not unhealthy if you don't partake. The idea is there's more to gain in life. Being able to participate for 3 or 4 days, enjoying something among others, liberatingly, is quite wonderful. And having a place to do that once or twice every year in someone's life is incredibly preventive. We're not treating anything. More like building someone up for a rainy day. Kind of like having hobbies, right? Some might think it's a waste of time if the problem doesn't ever occur. And it's like, well, yes. But when the problem occurs, do you think you're wasting more time addressing it? That's kind of the inevitable battle with the human condition, right? Do you do something? Do you solve a problem when it exists? Or do you do things to prevent the problem from ever happening or lessen the problem from ever happening, right? And one is a negative result and the other one is a positive result. When you treat something, you can positively see the effects of that thing. When you're preventing something, you get a null result. If it doesn't ever happen, do you know if it worked? And now and only retrospection cross-sectionally from previous generations and what can really attest to that whole preventive thing. Like, for example, mental health and mental wellness. Now there's a problem with mental wellness. The question is, did that mental wellness come about? Did that mental exertion that we observe now came about because now the situation propagates it? And then why does it not occur in a different generation of people, right? Perhaps there's something to be learned from prior generations that they did what seemed like it's normal behavior, but ended up being very preventive. So that's kind of like having hobbies and naturally encountering problems, solving problems and dealing with ambiguity, things like that. And it's a thing that I if I have something that I hyper focus on, that is definitely one of them. Having problems is just as likely a balance than never encountering. Like, never encountering problems may come as a shock, but what I mean is, if you don't ever have problems and you don't ever solve problems, then how is one able to solve problems when there is a problem? So while being preventive, there's always more than one perspective on that. Convention is more the preventive form of things. It's therapeutic in the sense that it's liberating. And I don't know, I think there's something incredibly poetic and interesting and ironic in so many ways that some of the hubs in the United States for this type of unhinged behavior is Asian culture, is Asian inspired. Because if there's any like collective group or collective culture that has elements of due diligence and discipline, it would largely be in the east side of things. And yet we have in the United States, it's probably one of the most consistent, at least now, the more consistent places of unhinged behavior. It's so interesting. Like, obviously we don't want to warp the perspective of what it's like to behave naturally in like a Chinese environment or an English or a Japanese environment. At the same time, though, I almost feel like it would be very encouraging to find Chinese people and Japanese people being able to celebrate in the culture, the part of their own culture that's hyper realized in places like the United States. So like anime culture is pop culture. It's a youth culture. So it only happens in a particular subset of like Japanese and Chinese, and within the lifestyle of a Chinese and Japanese and Korean people. However, they don't necessarily indulge in that as much as the Americans, right? And I'm overgeneralizing, so I'm being very careful here. Americans like to celebrate that part. However, when I think about it, going to these conventions, I almost feel like I wish my parents, like, not that I don't love the way they are now, somehow, some way, it would be nice to see that they had some of this type of emphasis in their lives, because I don't naturally see them engaging in anything like this. It doesn't have to be anime. It could be like stained glass collecting or underwater basket weaving for all intents and purposes. The idea is that it doesn't happen very often. Like, so while it could be a overrepresentation of very specific parts of, for better or for worse, like, that's why when you think about culture, when people think about anime, they might get like a really hyper-focused impression of the Japanese culture, but at the same time, it almost seems like it would be nice and could combat some of the work culture, like the hyper-realized work culture and face culture that is kind of making, let's just say, like low-key Asian cultures not being the happiest of, not really being the most satisfied and happiest of culture, like when it comes to the people who live there. Meanwhile, obviously, one can take a page from the work ethic, you know, balance, right? And then on the opposite side, one could take a page from the due diligence and the appropriateness of Asian culture when it comes to the work ethic in the West side of things. And at a convention, it kind of has this really interesting way of meeting halfway lots of times. Like the people at the convention work almost as enthusiastically as they party at the same time. It's 3 days of working hard and partying hard at the same time. So it's obviously naturally assured that everyone comes home incredibly strung out and overexhausted, but also incredibly euphoric and happy at the same time. Yep, lots of thoughts. I personally, for my thought is, it would be kind of nice if I knew, which this is not true, most of people go back to work today, but it would be a little bit less bittersweet knowing that not everyone, like, they have like a day or two to recover, but most people go straight back to work. The vast majority of people go straight back to work after their 3 days. I obviously would plan around it, but we have to keep in mind not everyone has, I always remind myself that not everyone has that luxury that I do, and it's still pretty, it makes it even more incredible that there are like hundreds of people who are operating in that capacity to make something like Otakon happen. Otakon has ran long enough where some of the major staff members run 2 generations long. Like, there are people, and you're seeing the 3rd generation too, where like you have 3 generations of related relatives being passed along. Like, so it started with the oldest, then when they became of age, like 16 to 18, then they started doing the thing, and then you're just seeing the little guys, like the little ones coming along because their parents and their grandparents are attenders, and that's kind of like such a sweet, lovely moment. I'm old enough now that the conversations I have with people is, oh, so when are you gonna bring the little ones? Because they're old enough to be part of the festivities, right? So now I have people that I've known where they have kids who can attend the convention. It's been that long, right? I'm reaching the age where most of the people I know, their kids would be anywhere between 5 and 10 years old at this point, on average. Kinda surreal. Seeing people grow up right in front of you, going to a convention. Almost like a, I want to say this with a very, very serious tone. It's almost like a religious experience. Celebrating a tradition. I mean, if you think about a holiday, right? It's annual, couple days. If you think about the Lunar Festival, it's about, at least for me and my family, it's about a week long, right? I think in China, it is also a week long or more, actually. I would love, that's probably one thing that I would love to potentially do sometime in my life, which is go to China and stay through the Lunar Festival and then leave when the lunar, like after a couple days after the Lunar Festival concludes. That would be the most pragmatic. Or go to Singapore during the Lunar Festival. And that'd be interesting too. Just where there's a lot of celebrations of that time of year. Let's see. So got to go to the Channel Fire Caverns. Yeah, how long? Oh yeah, we're still good. Oh, I am a little behind. I thought it might only take 30 minutes per tune. Or a little behind. Far behind. Okay. So, Kat, have you gone to maybe like a smaller thing? Have you gone to a gathering like that before? It doesn't have to be like Otakon crazy, but maybe like some sort of social networking event. Because you did mention you've traveled and whatnot to some extent. Okay. So I need to take out a lot of peeps. I think the activity counter is around 50% on this guy. We'll do heroic encounters on this guy. Slow us down. Okay. Where is our activity meter? 50%. I think we already turned in, yeah. Okay. Alright. Five. Okay. Let's see, it's 5 p.m. Yeah, I think we'll be able to find a Lair of the Mad Dragon run today. Turn in one of these guys. And hopefully grab an instance with... Why is this blinking at me? Nothing. Okay. Gotta find an instance with heroic encounters. Meanwhile... No dice. Only 50. We're only at 56%. Okay. Can take out some commanders. Nope. Oh, wait. Really? Hmm. I'm doing commanders on this instance. In this instance. Come on. I can't remember, but there was a... I kind of thought that there was an MMORPG where I played that allowed you to teleport to your nearest, like TP to your nearest nearest party member. I don't remember which one that is. Oh, okay, never mind. There's not enough people. That's why they're calling. Let's try this one. I don't know what mid is. Like mid position is. It's kind of weird. They might be talking about bridge. Let's head to the bridge. Follow this guy. Nope, it's definitely not bridge. Oh, maybe it is. Got two peeps. Let's check over here. Okay. Sure. Hey, if there's a tank in there, I'm all for it. Can't see anything, Chief. Oh, that was such a bad idea. How much percentage do you get? Was that like 20? I think you get 20% per commander, so that's pretty decent. We're just here to complete our activities thing so we can synchronize our tunes. Yep, that's a just a car, all right. The floor is lava. What can you do? Ow. Feels bad. Got spun around. Stop. Alright. Okay, so I see 15%. It's 15% for commander. I guess we're going to bridge. Let's go. Bridge. Okay. I'm not the tank. Who's the tank? That guy. Something's weird with the guy charging box, please. Yeah. Nice. That wasn't too bad. Alright. Let's head back. Alright. Around 30 minutes each. You know, slightly off track a little bit, but 30 minutes each, not too bad. And then next week we'll have the milestone stuff, which is the 4th milestone. So the 4th milestone is probably where it ends. I would be very surprised if they put in some dialogue between the 4th milestone and the 5th milestone. It is possible though, or whatever the weapon set is, like to integrate the weapon set, an idea behind the weapon set. All right. That's it. 3 tunes down. All right. So this is where we customarily throw all the lockboxes that I managed to absentmindedly pick up. And then we're going to open them until we get to 75. Or we hit... we're just going to go to 70. I'm not going to stop prematurely before 70. So until we open 75 of them. Usually when like the nice drop, and we get the mythic drop really early, I won't open any more lockboxes. So okay, 6. So we got another 20. I don't know where we are on the tracker. It looks like a little before 50. All right, here we go. Here's the lockbox. So we haven't landed on either of these yet. Just one key. We only need one key, right? That's actually quite above average. No, not bad. Then we went to the opposite direction. It's okay. Yeah, so we go to 75 basically. I don't have enough lockboxes to go there. Good thing. Not this time. Average. Below average. Below average. Average. Ooh. Okay, we're hitting above average already. 2 500 bonus trade bars. Not bad. Okay, I mean, I'll take it. That's above average. 10 more to go. Average. Average. Below average. Below. Below. Below above average. Really below average. Bottom of the barrel. Oh, that's pretty nice. We just got, wow. We just got a bunch of trade bars. I mean, I'll take it. That's fine. That's a heck of ton of trade bars. What the heck? All right. That's it. Are these 72s? Yeah, they're 72. Okay. There you have it. That's the conclusion of the lockbox portion. No exciting hype there. Okay. I don't really need anything from any lockbox in general. Opening them for the giggles. All right, you know what to do. We're at that section. We'll give it 20 minutes time while I wait for stuff. What is the tank loadout that I have? Ooh. It's kind of outdated, isn't it? Last call, 2 slots left for fire guard. Oh, okay, never mind. We're just doing... Alright. So the question is, how do I replace this? I mean, awareness is already capped. This is not so hot. Is there anything with looking for group. First boss farm. What do you farm the boss? Oh, okay, I can kind of see that. First boss farm. Unlike the Imperial Citadel, first boss farm is not my cup of tea. Don't really have anything to replace the ring with. Actually, what is the item level on this? 65k? Okay. Just gonna keep those on there. Oh, I wonder if this actually works. Nah, there's not enough demons and devils. There are quite initially. Well, actually, huh? That's really low though. The item level is really low. But that's kind of interesting to have this in my inventory. Yeah, I don't see any brave souls yet. Let me take a look at the ward. Usually if you look at the ward type, you might be able to get a gleam. So fiends? Okay, so fiends, yeah. That's interesting. That is very interesting. A plus 3%. How much am I losing for that low item level? Probably more than 3%, right? That's so interesting. Huh. Oh, and we can use all like the old stuff. Like we can use old wards. Wait a minute. I'm pretty sure I have wards. Don't I have like demon wards? Oh, I do. Hmm. Pretty sure they're all the same type. Right? Yeah. Pretty sure they're the same type. I don't even know if that works. I'll just use it anyways. Wait, where? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Demons, fiends, and... right? Yeah. Demon, devils, and fiends are of the same subtype. Or, like, these are the subtypes of the same group. Curious. Looking for one tank. First boss farm. Ugh. Do I do it? I mean, you just point the thing away from the team, right? That is something to do. First boss farm. Yeah, yeah. What do I usually use? Sure, put that in there. If that person says it again, I'll do the first boss farm. I am looking for something. I'm looking for some armor. Some quick armor pickups. I can't imagine it being too that terrible. Honestly, this ring is fine too. Where's my, yeah, see, the awareness is already capped. This ring is mediocre. Is there another ring? Huh. That's okay. I take that. That's yeah, that's meh. That's meh. That's pretty meh. Ah, I take that too. This isn't. I guess that's reasonable. Imagine subdividing 2% damage resistant across losing over 75% of your HP. I'll take a look at other things. No, I think we missed our opportunity. I would take this. This is not too bad. It's for boss. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. As a tank, you're a glorified boss. A boss participant. That's not too bad. It was pretty nice. That's not too bad either. Actually, most of these are pretty nice to replace. Although these two I can't really use because I'm doing something else. This one's pretty nice. 10 seconds out of 15, 75%. Alright. Although we don't have a group anymore. Or no one else. Come on. Guess they're shirts and pants. I think this modifier overlaps with the ring modifier. Yeah, it does. Recharge speed defense. Defense. When in combat with 3, combat with 1, yeah. %, 33%. These are the two choices. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. Guess recharge speed is recharge speed for a tank. Looking for 1 DPS. Of all the times to be looking for pain giver. I can't pain give. I mean, like, not on this character. When you are healed in combat. And that's 50%. That's terrible too. Wow, I don't really have great choices, huh? For the Justicar. I probably, man, recharge speed is just not great on Justicar. So I guess we just take this. Every 2 seconds. This is... Last boss is singular. Second boss is not. So that's kind of awful. Wait. No. Oh, no. Second boss... third boss is awful. The first and 2 bosses might not be too bad. Looking at gear while you're waiting. for groups is kind of lame because you're only brainstorming as though you're going to get them, but you don't. The nice thing is there's an individual loot, but you still have to run to get them. Ooh. Oops. Alright. Guess we're healing. Alright. We found a group. Alright. Didn't take too long. Oh, and I gotta try out this ward thing. Right? This demon ward thing. It's gotta work. I think. And I guess we can throw one of these on here. Let's grab a key. Oh right, we have access to this stuff. Do we have enough currency? I don't think I have enough currency. I don't mind putting this set on to the healer because the healer needs more passive stats, and those are pretty decent passive stats. And I have like a really old just 3% power, really old stuff. Do I have enough? Let's see. I have, okay, that's enough. 200, 600, 800. Okay. Yeah, I have enough. And this is still, the going price is still better here than whatever's in the auction house, I imagine. Let's do it. Let's look. Yep. It doesn't cost that much. Upgrade that. Yeah. All right. Oh, here we are. Take 2. Monko phase. Neat. Oh, whoops. Oh, I see what they're doing. Oh, you can avoid that group? Oh, I didn't even realize you can avoid that group. I bet. The more you know. I just follow the leader. Maybe they'll show me what other things you can avoid. Avoiding mobs. Time-tested tradition. You know, any mobs you can avoid. It's always nice. Oh, he's just gonna go in. All right. I like it. Oh. I think someone just ran over. I don't know what the heck hit that guy. Diamonds. It's been 2 weeks. I am unsure about some stuff. It's okay though. They're largely superficial. Superficial stuff. You know, I'm kind of curious how much I'm actually getting from... Dang it. That cutscene to be eating up a cast. Yeah, I remember the artifacts. Healer, not a cleric, such a luxury. Yeah, feels bad, man. No shielding. That was the tank making that remark. Artifacts didn't come up in time for that one. Oh. Oh, so they usually pick that corner. All right. I see. And then he goes out in the middle to attract the mobs for a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I see. Before the charge animation comes up again. Oh. Oh. He keeps TP. He keeps dodging out. Alright, well that's an unfortunate series of shifts, I can tell you that. It's a very unfortunate series of shifts. Ooh, Nelly. Get it? That guy's name is Nelly. Oh no, I got charmed. Bad news bears. Ooh, Nelly. Everyone's so far away. I wonder what happens if I doubt if you keep like one of the mobs alive. What would happen? Okay. Oh. Ooh, I see loot for me. Give me loot. Which one is this? The healing one? Dang it. I mean, it still replaces this, so it's an upscale. So it's not too bad. It's an upscale for the boots. Upgrade's an upgrade. Beggars can't be choosers. Actually, it's all individual loot now, so there's no begging. You just either get the roll or you don't. Which is kind of nice. Aha! So you can skip this one. Very nice. So still not that high of an aggro range for that group. Okay. Do I have a kit on me? I don't think I have a kit on me, so I can swap immediately. Now I'm kind of curious how this second boss is gonna go. Second door. Alright. Oh, let's see. I remember having a kit in my inventory. I saw a kit. Dang it, it's an awareness kit. Oh, wait. Crit severity, right? I can buy a crit severity immediately. I guess we're gonna replace at least 2, right? Hold. Put on these. There we go. Alright, that's bad. How do you want to play this? Augment or normal mod? Interesting. I don't know what they're talking about. I guess I'll learn. Hard mode with range comps. Interesting. I guess I'll learn something. Oh yeah, this is a big upgrade. I forgot because it's on fire theme maps. Yeah. Right? Because the thing is not... Yeah, it's only in wild space. Oh, okay. So this is really good. Alright, alright. Just kidding. Oh my. Well. That tank buster on top of 2 pain givers. Oh wait, I need cleanse. Oh, they did I can't target you. Oh, my cleanse isn't up yet. They did change the way the thing targets, I think. The like DOT. I think. Let's find out. Let's find out. Yeah. Wipe? Wait. Wait, what are we wiping for? Something happened? What are they trying to do? Wait, I need to... Okay. This pulse after hope will fix tomorrow. What's... I don't know what the problem was. Maybe the beginning? You should had honest... No, looks like they had a different method. They just want to hug the boss. Fair enough. Maybe that stops the guy from doing the DOT. I will slowly drag the boss near the edge, that's all. Boss is not acting normally as you do. It just takes some time and some problems can happen. Alright, fair enough. So they want to hug the boss. Okay. Goes to some problems. This person said that something is wrong with it, so I guess we'll just hug. I don't see anything wrong with the boss yet, other than someone taking a tank buster to the face. Okay. I guess he just doesn't do it at all if you're close. I saw my first run of this was that the boss does that attack no matter what. It doesn't matter if everyone was hugging or not. The boss still does the ground attack. I mean, this is definitely less eventful. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, this does make the boss a lot easier, doesn't it? Alright, well, I guess I could don't have any trouble tanking it this way, that's for sure. You basically just sit there. And healing just sits there too. Well, at least I can guard. I guess warlocks can just shift in place. Cleric, not so much. Still, the dodge is pretty reasonable. Okay. All right, now the second boss is I don't know if this was true from the first group that I ran with, but or like the first trial thing, but I was pretty convinced that the boss still does AoE on the ground. Even if you're hugging the boss. So staying together was not a great idea. So instead I stayed away and then basically just took whatever the attack hits me and I just cleanse the attack. And then anyone who gets hit in the group, I cleanse because they naturally will dash out of the group, out of the boss. However, it looks like if everyone hugs the boss, the AoE doesn't happen. So now it's basically a DPS check and stamina management for the tank as to not get like nailed. And then you use artifacts during the mob phase to stop them, and they can try to push the mobs off of the cliffside. It looks like pretty standard affair. And then they have to slow down near the end because of popping too many mobs at once. Fair enough. Yeah, that's more like it. Someone got all three of them got hit by DOTs. I don't know where it came from though. I didn't see a ground, but all of them got dotted. Oh, there's another dot. What the heck? That was weird. What a delay. That dot hit me. Oops. Okay, well, I might still need cleanse, I guess, because the dot hit me. And then it killed me. So maybe the boss, so maybe the boss still uses the dot every once in a while when you're hugging them in the late phase. I don't know. That's a little weird. Oh. This guy is talking about the loot. So I think the loot is kind of like the old school loot. Maybe something like Infernal Citadel? Not Imperial Citadel, but the Infernal Citadel, where the loot is attached to a very specific boss. Or even the reagents to exchange for the loot. Because this guy just said that the helmet isn't dropping. But only specifically saying that after the second boss. So I'm guessing each boss has a pair of loot. You got a shirt for a warlock for the second boss? Okay. So far I've gotten 4 things. I just got the boots from the first boss. I got armor from the second boss. And I got a ring from the chest. I didn't get anything from oh. Oh. Wait, do we just... Wait, what's that? Oh, they just want to wait till we... Oh, they're doing the... What you call it? The spell plague. The spell plague thing. Just run all the way to the end, hit the campfire, and wait. Sure. Fair enough. Okay. That's certainly a way to go about it. That's certainly one way to go about it. I mean, really not that much shorter. I used to do this in Demon's Web Pit Farm, yeah. Still do the campfire run. Oh, interesting. All right. I feel you. I feel you on running out of range for that one. The more you know. What? Oh, is it because... No? I'm just staring at the one player that is. Well. I was afraid this was still a thing. But, yep. This looks like a thing too. Boss path clipping. Alright, I'm gonna turn away from this and just stare at the wall. I only queue up with random groups, so I am not a spectator in this. I don't want that helm just for 200 item level. I want new items to set my stats accordingly. I have goals, but can't upgrade anything before having the latest item build. Interesting. Yeah, so this thing is still here with the dragon models. You know what? The most interesting tech form of this mob clipping is probably the first boss of the Infernal Citadel, when you get the boss to charge into a clip corner and use the side protrusion, and all you have to do is just tap it every once in a while, but the boss can never get to you as well. It's a little bit more involved because you need the boss to charge. You can kind of wiggle the boss, but not as effective as a dragon. A dragon's collision box is very, very big. So we used to do the same thing in mod 5 when this boss dungeon was still, yeah, pretty much. So I don't want to be that guy, but obviously if you're gonna re-release a dungeon, it's up to you to determine if you let this happen or not. I know, right? I think it's nostalgic. It's nostalgic. This is definitely nostalgic. The boss clipping. Just have, like, you know, this is why a lot of games use arenas, right? That don't have protrusions. Like, this is all well and good on the texture side and things, but man, when you have like little gaps like this, it's not smoothed out. You're bound to have clipping like this. Like, look at this. There's plenty of places where you can conceptually move the boss into. Wait, okay. What are they saying? Okay. Is there any PG friendly stuff? Let's see. Who upgraded my insignias earlier? I know it doesn't help, but that's there. Our alliance likes to give pets to newbies. You are not so special. Wow. My alliance the other day did a trivia riddle stuff. Just say in chat, hey, I'm new, and you'll have 10 incoming mail for that. Winners got mythic mounts and other good stuff. Okay. My alliance is full of bullies. We're not the same. Same here with I'm new. Nah, I'm not begging. Ahaha. Yeah, our guy's doing some events too. Never attend one. I'm just complaining. I did it for funsies. Want the new mythic beastal thing. Passed up. I need that for tactician. Yeah, I need Vecna for the Protector's Covenant, but don't want to pay 3 mil yet. He still has Covenant 2. Need Guppy and something else, but Brokey. Maybe I'll pay, but need to get new artifact that'll come with lockbox first. What artifact? Oh, yeah, I got it. 15 stam regen, 10 artifact will come with new lockbox. Saving for that. Interesting. These are the conversations you have while waiting. Was Certilofax always this tanky? I could have sworn it was this guy wasn't this tanky. Did they adjust his HP? I could have sworn the first run 2 weeks ago was not this tanky. Although, like, I wasn't even paying attention to what was happening because he's a very standard dragon in this day and age. Poor little guy though. I mean, big guy. Wasn't this tanky before? I don't think he was tanky this before. Especially for these guys. 50% stam regen is enough, I think. At least I can manage with 50%. Just greedy to get more. Interesting. Imagine stam regen is a priority for a tanker. I mean, what else are you gonna put it into, I suppose? Well, today I've learned nostalgia strikes twice. Now it's no longer nostalgia, right? Rage. No. Now it's not. Now this is not nostalgic anymore. It's real. It's still topical. Oh, how it comes full circle. So I guess we just figure out what I'm looking for. I waited for years of return of old dungeon, and when it got, yeah. I was really expecting, my first run of this, I was kind of expecting something. Like something that was a tune-up. Oh, you deleted your main? I see. Should I call the police or will you kill that? Oh. Wait. Don't worry, next patch they were buffing his HP. Oh, more HP? Alright, well, let's take a look. I wouldn't mind the arms. Does the arms drop off the dragon? I don't know if Chartilofax drops the arms. That based on what that guy said, I guess the helmet piece drops off the second boss. I'm glad I'd never done the advanced the Imperial Citadel. I left the game then, only to come back one mod later. I'm confused. Okay. Tank Buster does 2.13 billion damage for 1 week. True, that's kind of what I heard too. What about rings? Like, I guess I just settled for this before because I couldn't get one of these. I don't know. Rings, any rings. Fine. I'll take whatever rings. So we're looking for legend rings, right? The things people do. It's part of the experience. This is part of the experience. You never know what kind of group you run into when you're randomly queuing with peeps. Oh, they have to let him do an attack before unhinging? Oops. There's a little... A regular tank should tank 2.1 billion damage. Sounds like a skill issue. Me too. Does this guy phase now? I don't know what happens. I'm guessing he has to go through the phases. Gotta do like the gigantic AoE at some point. Maybe. Nope. Doesn't even happen. Just have to phase. Alright. Fair enough. After it's dropped, he still puts a... Okay. Oh, it's a glitch? Oh, okay. I figured he had to go through... When I say phasing, he has to go through his attack cycle. He has to do a attack cycle before dying. Alright. Nope. A shirt. Which shirt is it? Save me. Okay. Feels bad, man. Alright. Well, there you have it. I could have taken the 10k, but... Just want to see. Alright. Alright, well, we know how that works out. Alright. Well, there you have it. That was... I could have sworn the second boss does the ground AoE regardless if you're hugging. If that's how it normally works out, then man, my first run was... That was something else. I felt it was a lot more entertaining though. This run was wasn't as entertaining. The first boss is still fairly entertaining. Alright. Well, there you have it. Oh, I see some chatter in the zone chat about being able to now everyone can do quote unquote things. I can see why now there's so many for Masters Lair of the Mad Dragon Dash format. Okay, that explains a lot actually. I've been away for the most of the week, so I didn't see any PE chatter. Alright, that's a wrap for week 4. We'll see what happens in Thursday's patch. I imagine there's gonna be a Thursday's patch for something. Perhaps they'll make the dragon slippery. Maybe add slipping of some sort after so many years. Alright, that's all the time I have for Neverwinter today. We got our 1 run in, we opened our lockboxes, we did our 3 tunes. Today's average is business as usual. I don't see the end of the milestone thing until next week. So we'll listen to some of the dialogue and all that leads up to Lair of the Mad Dragon. Alright. that's a wrap. Business as usual. 5 out of 5. It's a little less eventful, but at the same time, it's kind of nostalgic. So if it's nostalgic, it's business as usual. So 5 out of 10, right? Across the board. I almost am willing to say poetically, not there hasn't been any change, so it didn't get any worse, nor did it get better. So yeah, there you have it. Alright, so I'm gonna change gears now. Until next week, maybe I'll have some patch notes to talk about next week.